Hello everyone, welcome to Motivation Medicos. My name is Fulkit Gupta and in this video we are starting with the CNS pharmacology and our first topic is the sedative hypnotics. So without wasting time, let's get started. So first is sedative hypnotics. So if we give these sedative hypnotic drugs in low doses, so in low dose they will lead to causing the sedation. They cause the sedation. And if we give these drugs in high dose, that will lead to sleep or we can say hypnotics. So these that's why the name of the topic is the sedative hypnotics. Sedation, means feeling the calm or basically you're about to sleep. Well, actually, the high dose will lead you'll be able to a person can able to sleep. So the first thing we need to know about how this occur. Basically, these sedative hypnotics, I will tell you, they are the CNS depressants. They are the CNS depressants. So basically, these CNS depressants. Now, how this work? So first of all, you need to understand how GABA work. So GABA, it is a GABA is a inhibitory. It is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. As you all know, GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, and GABA is present. This GABA is present on the one channel, that is GABA receptor is present on one ion channel on the neuron, that is on the chloride channel. This is the chloride. So what GABA receptor do when GABA gets stimulated, it opens this chloride channel and chloride will increase inside the neuron. So inside the neuron, if chloride will increase, that will lead to more negative. More negative means there will be hyperpolarization. That will lead to basically the neurons won't be able to stimulate, and that will depress the brain. So we want this thing, we want to depress the brain to get into the sleep. Basically, there is a reticular activating system which continuously remain active, and that's responsible for our wakefulness. So we depress the brain to go into the sleep. So that's what happened. Let's see in this. The neurons contain a channel for chloride channel entry. GABA receptors are present on this channel. GABA stimulates these receptors. Chloride channels opens and chloride enter inside the cell membrane portions inside the become negative, and that leads to the hyperpolarization of the neuron, due to which neurons can't be stimulated and brain is depressed. So that's how basically our brain is different. This is the mechanism. Now on similarly like the GABA, there are two more receptors which is present on the ion channel. The one uh, the one and two. The one is the barbiturate, and the other one is the BZD, that is benzodiazepines. Let's see how they work. So let's see about the barbiturate and the benzodiazepines. So barbiturates are the basically GABA mimetics. Mimetics means mimic. They work similarly like GABA. They have similar receptors like the GABA. They get stimulated. They will open the chloride channel, and chloride will go inside, and there will be hyperpolarization. But what benzodiazepines do, they are GABA facilitatory. I mean, they don't work like GABA. They basically stimulate the gamma. They stimulate the gamma to work for them. They facilitate their work. They will basically motivate them to work more. Basically, GABA will secrete more chloride channel, and there will be more depress of the brain. While the second point, that is GABA, there's a what barbiturates do, they increase the duration of the chloride channel. While in benzodiazepine, it increases the frequency. It increases the number of times. Basically, it get depressed more. Now in the barbiturate, the dose response curve is steep, while in benzodiazepine it is flat. So let's understand this point. What I mean by this? Suppose this is a dose response curve. In this curve, there's a two graph. This is for one graph, and this is second. This is little steep. So this is for the BZ, the benzodiazepine. This is for barbiturate. Now you can see which. What do you think? Which curve is safer? You can see if If I increase the dose in benzodiazepine, you can see if I increase the dose, response is increasing. While in barbiturate, in the beginning, if I increase the dose, there's a very little increase in the response. But simultaneously at this point, if I increase the dose, it increases the response massively. So we don't want this thing that suddenly their response will be so much increase. So that's why the barbiturate are unsafe. We don't use, that's why the barbiturates, and we use benzodiazepine because they are safe. And also the barbiturate, they are they get activated by enzyme inducers. So basically, they easily get, anybody can induce their effects. They can be affected by the enzyme inducer, and they have more addiction as compared to the benzodiazepines, and they show a more interrogate amnesia. Amnesia means loss of memory. So there are two types of memory basically, retrograde and interrograde. A retrograde means a patient basically forget about his past. And interrograde means that person forgets after taking the medicine. He forget everything. So there's a loss of the interrogate amnesia more in the barbiturates. And there's no antidote in the barbiturate, while there's a drug called flumazenil. Flumazenil is a drug which we can give in. There's a poison of the benzodiazepine, or there's a toxicity. So that's why, because of these enzyme inducer, there's a more addiction in the barbiturates, more interrogate amnesia, and there's no antidote for this. That's why barbiturates are not useful, or basically we don't use them. Basically, we use benzodiazepine. But there are two drugs basically which we use. One is the uh, thiopentone, and the other one is the phenobarbital. Phenobarbital basically we give in case of epilepsy, while thiopentone is given in case of anesthesia. In case of anesthesia. Now let's talk about the benzodiazepines, which are basically useful, and we can use them for the person to put it in sedation or in sleep. So benzodiazepine. So these are the drugs. So let's see the name of the drugs. So the name is diazepam, flurazepam, nitrazepam, and flunitrazepam. You can say these all are acting with the zepam. So you can remember the benzodiazepines end with the zepam. There's a diazepam, flurazepam, nitrazepam, and flunitrazepam. So these are the benzodiazepines. But these drugs are long acting. These drugs basically which I have told you, these are long acting. Why? Because on their metabolism, basically when they metabolize, they will form one more active metabolite. So due to production of one more active metabolite, they are long acting. They work for long duration. That's why they cause hangover, and they are also contraindicatory in elderly and the liver failure patients. That's why these benzodiazepines are also not used. So we have formed some benzodiazepine which are not forming active metabolites after metabolism. So you can remember them by a mnemonic that is stool. You can remember this by a mnemonic that is stool. From S, it is a short-acting benzodiazepine. T, temazepam. O, oxazepam. L, lorazepam. And from E, it is a estrazolam. So you can just remember the drugs of the benzodiazepine by remembering just a simple mnemonic that is TOL. That is short-acting benzodiazepines are the temazepam, oxazepam, lorazepam, and estrazolam. So they are short-acting. They don't form any active metabolite. They don't cause any hangover, and they're safe in elderly as well as in liver failure patients. So we can give them benzodiazepines. So now, basically, as I've told you, there's sedative hypnotics. Hypnotics basically we give them in sleep. But these benzodiazepine and barbiturate, if we give to a patient for the sedation or for the sleep, what they do, they basically distort their response distort the normal sleep architecture, and they also how they decrease the latency of the sleep onset. Basically, what they do, they decrease the uh, quality of the sleep, but they increase the quantity of the sleep. They increase the quantity of the sleep. That's why they say that's why person take these drugs, but they are not basically useful. If I say if I'll give you benzodiazepine, you will sleep for 2 more hours, but you don't feel restful, or basically you don't feel energetic after waking. So is it beneficial? No. Person doesn't feel relaxed after waking because these are the drugs because they distort the normal sleep architecture. So what we do, we made some drug that is Z drugs. This is not category, but the drugs name start with a Z. That's why we name them as a Z drugs. What they do, they decrease the latency. What is this latency? So this latency means basically when you lay down on your bed till the time you go into your sleep. This duration, like suppose if you lie down on your bed at 10 p.m. and you go into your sleep at 12 p.m. So this 2 hours is a latency period. So what these Z drugs do, they decrease this latency period, and they don't increase the duration of the sleep. So if a person go into sleep earlier, they can have a restful, basically peaceful sleep. So that's what these Z drugs do. Now, name of these drugs is the zolpidem, zaleplon, zopiclone, and the esja esjapiclone. It is zolpidem, zaleplon, zopiclone, and esjapiclone. So what they do, they decrease latency and they are non-addictive. They are not addictive also. So that's why these drugs are very useful. Now, the next thing after this, in the sleep or for the sleep, there is a drug called the type of melatonin receptor agonist. Now, let's first understand the physiology of the melatonin. Melatonin is secreted in our body at night. It secretes and basically it is responsible for the sleep. Basically, it's responsible to maintain our day-night cycle, and this secretion cause sedative effect. It has a sedative effect. So what we do, we give a drug that is Rameltion. This Rameltion is a drug basically which do increase the melatonin in your body, and person feel sleepy because it has a sedative effect. So when these drugs is useful, when we can give this drug, and they are non-addictive, that's why they are given. And when we can give this drug, we can give them in shift workers. Shift workers means the person who are having who works in night, so they want to have sleep in the morning or in the daytime, so they can take these drugs. Or in the patients of insomnia, person who don't able to sleep, or in case of jet lag. Jet lag means if a person is traveling from India to America or any other country where the time lag is so much. So to to maintain their sleep day night cycle, these drugs is given. That is melatonin receptor agonist. That the name is Rameltion. The other type of drug is the orexin receptor antagonist. This orexin is basically responsible for the wakefulness. It is responsible for the wakefulness. So if we give the antagonist of this drug, that will be if we inhibit this basically receptor, that we can easily a person can easily be able to sleep. So we have two drugs, that is suvorexant as well as lemborexant, which can be given, which act as antagonist of the orexin, and which are basically responsible for the sleep. So that's it about the sedative hypnotics, the first topic in the CNS. Hope you like this video. If you like it, please like, share, subscribe, and guys, don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.